There's not a whole lot that surprises me in the silver market, but what I just found out absolutely blew me away. I'll explain what it is as we explore. I've been following the silver market for quite a long time, and most of this journey has been expressed with you on this channel with over 7,000 videos. But this statistic was probably one of the most surprising things I found out about silver. And it's not just about what has happened recently, it's about what has occurred over the past 10 years. And we know that trends change and the like in terms of how silver is perceived by the market and the like, and how silver's demand has shifted. Well, it shifted a lot more dramatically than what I thought. When we think about silver, most of us think about it in the forms like this, in the form of physical bars and coins and rounds. There's a lot of different styles and types to choose from. It's just amazing all the different choices that are out there. And there's plenty more choices out there than ever before. So this is why, in a sense, this statistic and this chart I'm going to show you in a moment absolutely blew me away. I was just amazed at it. But silver's a beautiful metal, but a lot of people are kind of turned off by it these days. And I'll explain that in a moment. But look at that. I mean, silver eagles, the most popular bullion coin on the planet. And there's no other coin out there like it that can compete in the history of the world compared to the silver eagle. And complete with milk spots. You're seeing more and more of them lately. And, you know, I haven't really tracked the sales of eagles over the past 10 years, but I'm telling you, likely they have come down over the past 10 years. And when we think about it, well, it makes us wonder what's going on. Some of that we can denote to the spot price. Spot price of silver has been falling since the election, and many people wonder, you know, what's going to be happening with silver's price into next year? What's going to cause the price to go up? What's keeping it down? Some people blame it on suppression, and it's an understandable thing, but I think there's more at it to play than just suppression. In fact, I'm going to place the blame on you. That's right. You, the individual, very well could be participating in the silver's price falling, at least to some extent. And here's where this chart comes into play. Silver demand over the past 10 years. I saw this, somebody had posted this on the X platform. I can't find the source for it, but you can see that it's not the best resolution, but it is a mining visual here. And it shows the demand for silver over the past 10 years. And this is something. And you can see the first thing here, this is what blew me away. This is the biggest drop in demand that we've seen in silver, which counters the biggest increase in demand in silver's price, or silver's demand there. So let's first talk about the increase in demand here from electronics and electrical devices. Electrical and electronics is what they have here, from 213 million ounces back in 2015, and they don't give you a number here of what it is, at least that I can see, but it has increased dramatically, 19.25%. But in a sense, that's really not that surprising. And photovoltaics exponentially increased, 289.26%. And this is where the demand is now for precious metals in 2024. The year's not over yet, so they have the F there, which means forecast. But photovoltaics, I think in some ways they may be overproducing. A lot of this is coming out of China. And so I would maybe think that in the next few years, this could actually scale back somewhat. But we'll see. I mean, I know there's a lot of demand, but the China economy is something that we really don't have a firm grip on, and they're overproducing a lot of things, including photovoltaics, solar panels that they're actually using as hedgerows and fence rows, because they've got so many of them, they can take them and repurpose them for that reason. But so these are the two biggest high areas of increased demand. Everything else is falling one degree or another. But this number here, and we're going to look at it here momentarily, but this is the thing that shocked me. Over the past 10 years, there's been a 31.46% decline in net physical investment. Physical, that's right. And that shocks me. We'll get to that in a moment. These other numbers actually are a little bit surprising. Jewelry, they show as being up 4.35% from 10 years ago, although they're showing it as down here in terms of the graph, but we'll leave that by. I guess they needed room. Well, they could have probably moved it up a little bit here. I don't know why they're showing it as down, but it is indeed a larger piece here than it is over there. And other industrial as well as up, but they're showing it kind of down here as well too. But it is up 29.77% for other industrial uses. And again, not terribly surprising. And this is in the other category. There are a lot of different things. There's over 10,000 uses for silver. So in a sense, this doesn't surprise me a whole lot. But, from 10 years ago, which is, by the way, when I got my solar panels, this thing has went from 16 million ounces, rocketing, shooting up, 289.26%. I think that's pretty amazing. Silverware is up slightly as well, too. That actually surprises me a little bit, that it is up 0.86%. And then we have other things where demand for brazing alloys and solders, which I would think would be part of electrical and electronics, but they have it as a separate category. It's up 1%. And then photography is down slightly, although it doesn't really give you a number here. It's a down a little bit there. That doesn't surprise us at all that that's down. So let's go back into the thing that has shocked me the most. Silver demand, net physical investment demand is down 31%. And with a bigger shock than that, an even larger shock than that, is to how much silver demand, how much physical was a part of the overall demand from all these categories 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was the largest piece of the pie, of 309.3 million ounces, far exceeding electronics and jewelry and other industry, and obviously photovoltaics, to the now, 10 years later, photovoltaics and electrical and electronics have far surpassed net physical investment demand. That means that there's no mistaking that silver is trading much more as a commodity than as a monetary metal or as a hedge. And I think that is part and parcel to people not buying it. Now, net physical investment, when we think about that, how does that play in the role of exchange traded products? Because when I think of net physical investment, I'm thinking of actually procuring this, actual silver bars and the like, or coins, or rounds. Again, a lot of different styles that you can get. But my guess is that probably includes, yes, dare I say it, ETFs. And even though ETFs are not and should not be considered buying the physical, they are backed by physical, at least to some degree, to the tune of well over 400 to 1, by the way, but nonetheless, backed at least in part by physical. And so when you add all that up, the amount of physical that is available to invest in or to hedge with or to stack in physical form, like what you see here, then that means that there's a problem in the silver market. There's a huge problem, because you would think now, especially now, that more people would be buying it. The price is starting to see some action to go up. And of course, by the time you see this video, I'm recording this video as the markets have just opened, and they are up slightly, but not a whole lot. They're down since the election. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is quite surprising. I was very much shocked to see how much that has shrunk down over the course of the time. Now let's talk about the totals here. The total amount of physical supply that we've had and the demand for it was 1,064.4 million ounces in 2015. And that is increased for the demand up 14.43% to 1,219 million ounces for 2024. That's a lot of silver demand for sure. And these two areas are picking up the slack and then some. But the thing about it, and of course, this doesn't give us a number for how much is in photovoltaics, but make no mistake, this is a larger piece of the pie and would have still been on top had investment demand stayed the same since then. The ironic thing is that the derivatives market continues to climb compared to the amount of physical backing it, which is problematic for sure. But you are not buying as much silver, whether in physical or in paper form. And I'm not going to tell you to go buy more, by the way. No, and that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to educate as much as possible, to give you the benefits of holding silver and maybe buying it, but you make that decision on your own. Now, this channel has grown very slowly over the past 10 years. And usually when there's an excitement in the market, unless there's some great personality or some other metric that's going to bring people in, this channel's lack of growth really is in times of a big movements or big news in the world of precious metals. Otherwise, it's a slow growing channel. The reason why I say that is because, well, there's been a lot of people that are not here anymore that used to frequent this channel and comment on videos. And I think this chart may be part of the reason why. I'm one of the few channels out there who's been around long enough, who's really seen that kind of shift and change of viewership. It has been exciting over the past 2 years and maybe even 3 or 4 years to see the amount of new folks coming into stacking. But apparently it's not enough to fill in the gap of the amount of people that were stacking back in 2015. Now, the other thing that to think about is a lot of those people that were stacking or investing, if you want to call it that, back in 2015, those folks, many of them probably were not on the internet. And maybe some of them have either retired, sold their stack, got disgusted with silver's lackluster performance over the past decade, and now starting to see it climb back up again. Maybe some of them are coming back into play. Who knows? And it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. For me, I'm holding on to the silver I have. I can understand why people might be nervous about buying it. And they buy it and then the price drops dramatically. It's a long-term proposition. I encourage you that if you can afford to do so, to hold on to your silver. Don't give up. You can maybe give up buying if you don't feel comfortable doing it. But if you have some silver, and if you can afford to hold on to a portion of it as a hedge against economic instability, I'd encourage you to do that. So let me know what your thoughts are. I found this metric and this statistic in this graph quite surprising that it has fallen almost a third of a percentage, almost 33% here, 31.46%. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.